What is up, guys? Kyle Smith, Arizona Drummer here, and we have got a brand new camera. Today we unbox, review, and check out the Canon PowerShot V1, a compact camera with a built-in lens, C-Log 3, and so much more. Well, let's check it out! Alright guys, so here is the camera. Like I mentioned before, this is the Canon PowerShot V1. This camera is really cool because it's all self-contained. Now you might be wondering, Kyle, why did you get another camera? You already have the one we're shooting on right now, which is the Sony FX30 cinema camera with a Sigma 16mm lens, as well as my iPhone, my DJI Osmo Action 5s, all kinds of cameras. Well, guys, what I found oftentimes is when I'm traveling, either one, this camera that we're filming on right now is a little too big and a little too heavy, and it also has no stabilization. So when I'm filming, it gets really shaky. I have to put it through either active steady shot, or I have to put it through Catalyst Browse, or I have to actually go in and stabilize every single clip individually in order to get my videos out there, and even still, they're shaky. So I wanted to get something that was a little bit easier to carry around. This could fit right in my pocket. We're gonna look at it in just a second. Also, what I found is that oftentimes I don't even bring this camera because of the form factor of it. Like I said, it's big, it's heavy, it's bulky, it looks incredible, but it's really good for these types of stationary shots. And also, when you're using things like your iPhone, or when you're using things like the DJI Osmo Action Pro 5, even though they are 4K, I just can't seem to get the right quality that I want, as well as it's kind of inconvenient to bring those and set those up. So what this essentially allows us to do is have a camera that is convenient to use, and I could use it in a lot more context, so I could capture a lot more content for you guys with high quality imagery, as well as this has a zoom lens of 16 to 50. So really great options there when it comes to the flexibility of run and gun, shooting, things like that. So with that being said, let's get into the box here. So just to got a nice pull tab here. And then we are in the box. So first things first, there's the limited warranty information. Okay, before we pull the body out, we've got a couple extra pouches here. Let's go through these first. So I think this is the battery right here. Very nice. Here is our Canon battery. It is the smaller battery, so from what I've heard, it's not the best when it comes to overall shooting time. But again, this is gonna be our B cam, so our A cam can go pretty much forever. Not really, but it does feel like it sometimes. We've got a windscreen that comes with this. So we'll kind of get into this pouch here. This is if we decide to use the onboard mic. So again, just a nice little windscreen right there that slides right into the hot shoe mount, which I'll show you that in just a second, just to help, again, keep the audio sounding clear and nice. And then last but not least, I'm not even sure what's in here. Oh, nice. Looks like, yeah, we've got a nice little wrist strap that we can put on the camera to help keep it steady in our hands so we don't drop it, things like that. That's everything that comes in the box. Now, that brings us to the camera. This thing is so freaking tiny. I'm so excited because this is pocketable. That's the reason I wanted it, is that I can put it in my pocket and I don't have to worry about a case or anything like that. I can have it on me at all times to capture vlogs, behind the scenes stuff, all the goodies, as well as use it here in the room as another camera angle. Here we go. Very nice. Let's get rid of this cloth here. So here is the camera itself. As you can see, it has a fixed lens on there. We've got our battery door down here, as well as the 1/4 inch to mount it to a tripod. Now what's kind of crappy about this is if you mount it to a tripod, you can't open the door. But there are things on Amazon, which I'll kind of link either here on the screen or down below, where they have cages that actually fit around the body of the camera and have access to this battery door, and like move this over here. So that way you can still access your battery and mount the camera. So I will be picking up one of those. But here is the camera itself. On the right, we have these attachments. So we've got an USB-C for charging, a mini HDMI if we want to stream or use an external monitor. We've got a mic input here for our microphones. We do use our DJI mic minis, so that'll be helpful there, as well as headphones. If you want to hear the audio in a headphone, you can hear that, or you could just hear it playing out loud. So either way, on the top, we've got our record button. We've got our zoom right here, our zoom rocker going like this, our on-off button. We've got our selector, and what's cool about this is there's a simple switch where you can do boom, you're in camera mode, boom, you're in video mode. So it makes it really simple. Here's our hot shoe right here. We just pull this guy out, and then now we've got our hot shoe available. This right here is the microphone on the camera. So again, that hot shoe will be where this guy goes, and it just sits right on top like that. So it keeps the windscreen over the microphone there. This right here is where we have actually an internal fan So what's great about this and why I chose this camera is the FX30 has an internal fan, and so does this. And I'll be using this for B cams for any interviews we do in person. So again, this is going to keep the camera cool, keep it from overheating, and make sure that we can get those interviews without having to worry about the camera overheating and turning off on us. This is where we can mount that wrist strap, and here is the back of the camera. So it actually has a pretty nice size screen. It is adjustable, so you can flip it so it faces forward for vlogging, as well as you can have it like this if you want to see it this way, because there's no viewfinder on this. Again, I'm not really worried about that, but I know that that's something that more professional photographers were worried about. Or again, you can protect your screen, flip it, again, put it back right here. A lot of folks were talking about how this grip isn't very big. Again, I have little hands, so this is perfect for me if I'm being honest. And then right here we just have our menu screens. We can program some of these buttons to be customizable, so we will be doing that. And then of course this is your playback, your menu. But let's get the battery in here and we'll check out what the screen looks like and how the camera operates. We just hit this on-off button right on top and then watch the lens come out. Just like that. It's that quick. And if we want to see, it's now in the setup mode. So I'm going to get this set up and then I'll show you the menu in just a second. Okay, so now the camera's set up. As you can see though, the battery does need to charge, as well as I have not put a card in there yet. But there is kind of the viewfinder. It's kind of Inception-y. But again, there's no card in the camera, of course, but here's the menu. You know, we can choose which recording type we want on here. So in this channel, we typically do 4K at 24 frames per second or 4K at 30. We're gonna go ahead and do 4K at 24. Really intuitive. You can kind of go through and, you know, set your different modes, set your different, you know, autofocus, creative assistance. There's built-in LUTs you can have in here. So really a lot of customization in there, and it's really easy to use. It's also touchscreen, so if you want to go to a different menu, you can just touch it just like that. So really, really intuitive. Like I mentioned before, there's a bunch of buttons you can map to set your autofocus. There's also this ring here where you can choose different options, which is really nice and really helpful. So it's really easy to use. That's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed. I'm gonna turn this off for now so I can charge it. It's probably the biggest thing I've noticed. Is really, really easy to use. Again, it's pocketable, it's really small, and the video quality is great. Now, this also has built-in ND filters, which is really great for if you're filming outside and you're getting a little bit of overexposure. You can go ahead and just right off the bat have a built-in ND filter right there in the lens that's going to keep you from getting your kind of highlights blown out and looking really nice and clean. And then just to showcase again, this is a zoom camera. So all you have to do if you want to zoom is just whoosh, boom. I don't know if that showed on the camera. So this is zooming in, this is zooming out. So again, I'll show you on here if it'll show. Let's just put the phone down on there so you guys can see it. And then here is the zoomed in view. So again, really, really nice, great image quality. I'm excited. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to let this thing charge up a little bit. We'll put an SD card in here, and then we're gonna test it on the drums. All right, guys, so now what I wanna show you is an A-B comparison between the Sony FX30 and the Canon PowerShot V1. I'm gonna show you the difference in how they look, but then also in how they sound using the onboard microphones. And then right after that, I'm gonna show you what they look like side by side pre-color grading, and then a little bit of color grading applied to the Canon to look closer to the Sony FX30. And now I want to show you just a little bit of free jamming with the camera set up right in front of the drum set, just so you can kind of hear what it sounds like, what it looks like with the orange lights and kind of in the studio. least, I've actually had a chance to use this camera in a lot of content over the last couple of days. And so I want to show you snippets or clips from those videos where you can actually see what the camera looks like when it's synced up with recorded audio, mixed recorded, but also when it's put in a good angle that supports the lighting that's required to get a good image from this camera. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll go into the vlog. I know I look kind of crazy right now, but this is the room with all the bright lights on. There's the kit. Oh yeah. And so tomorrow, I know this looks crazy. Tomorrow, I will take you guys to the gym so you can see what that's like. We'll go in the car. We'll just do kind of a mini vlog just to get an idea of how this camera operates. Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's my big man right there. There's Storpy. Hi, handsome boy. Hi, handsome boy. Again, we're outside. That's a good boy. I still, like, it looks pretty damn good out here. Look at this fat chunk. Hi, Thorpe. Hi, buddy. Handsome man. Oh. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Bubba. Hi, pretty girl. Yeah, look at the pretty girl. That's Bunny. Good girl. What's up, guys? So now we are in the car. I'm just using the camera audio, so whatever you're hearing is just what's being picked up on the camera with its in-body microphone. I've got you mounted upside down, but I've got you mounted to the rearview mirror. But yeah, like I said in the earlier clip, I thought I'd take you along with me. We're going to the gym. It's about noon right now, so you're seeing, again, the sun's like pretty much right, perfectly vertical above me. But this is what the camera looks like, and a kind of car setting, again, just driving. We're going to grab a quick snack, so I have some fuel for this workout, and then I'll take you along for some of the workout. Again, I don't want to bore you guys and have you watch me sweat and complain and struggle. How's that any different than any of the drum videos? But I digress. Again, just want to kind of show you guys what the camera looks like in a traditional vlogging scenario where we're in the car. Alright guys, we've got our goodies, and now we can head to the gym. guys, and that is a wrap on this video of unboxing and reviewing the Canon PowerShot V1. In fact, I am currently filming this clip right now on the Canon PowerShot V1. I'm using my DJI mic minis to get the audio, and honestly, it looks incredible. Those first couple of clips, I'm not sure if it's just because of the way I had the orange lights and maybe the overhead lights were just a little too aggressive for that small built-in lens. So those first couple of clips, although the color looks pretty good, it's just not very sharp. In the clips afterwards, where I've kind of got the lights dialed in, I've got the positions in a little bit of a better place, I mean, it looks really, really great. In fact, right now, you almost can't even tell I'm not on the Sony right now. In fact, what's really cool too is I can zoom in. God, my lips look red. And I can zoom out. And what's really cool about this too is on the Sony, I don't get this much, this wide of a view for some reason. So you could actually pick up the Gretsch drums back there. I've got my, of course, West Coast Drum Shop shirt on and things of that sort. But again, the primary use for this camera is to be used as like a B cam, to be used for obviously footage in here. So you saw it in some of the clips I included earlier in the video, but also it's going to be used for when I'm on the go. This is something I can put in my pocket. I don't have to put it in a case or put it in a travel case like I do this guy, which again, this camera is the main camera. This is the Sony FX30. It's got the 16mm lens on it. You got to see kind of the A/B comparison. This is also like a $2,000+ setup, whereas this was, you know, under $1,000. So this is still the A cam, but again, this is not something you want to bring with you all the time, right? It's a really big camera. It's really bulky. It looks great. It's got great grip, feel. It's got internal fan. Obviously, incredible imagery. It's built for cinema, but really just not something you want to have with you all the time. It's heavy. It's big. This thing fits right in my pocket. So I'm really excited to be able to take this with me. It's going to encourage me to capture more behind the scenes content. In fact, at the recent show with Jane in the Jungle, which I did a vlog at, which you can click right here and check it out, I didn't capture a lot of the behind the scenes because I had to use my phone or the DJI action camera. The footage on the DJI was okay, but obviously this image is way better. And then even on the iPhone, it took a lot to get it to kind of color grade appropriately, to sound good. I mean, again, a lot of manipulation, whereas this guy is just set up ready to go and high quality. So you'll see me capturing a lot more behind the scenes when I'm traveling, when I'm doing events, when I'm playing shows. In fact, I got a show coming up here in the middle of May, so I'll be bringing this along with us so we can capture all the behind the scenes content of getting prepped for the show, getting loaded in, sound check, all that good stuff. Then of course we'll mount this up so we can capture the footage with this nicer image quality. So with that being said though, guys, do I recommend the Canon PowerShot V1? And the answer to that is absolutely. Now when you're comparing it to something like this, obviously this is going to win out 10 times out of 10. We'll say 9 times out of 10 because this is not as portable. But when you're comparing it to things like your iPhone or an action camera or maybe some of the more budget-friendly cameras out there, this thing is incredible. It's really easy to use. The startup time is seconds. I mean, it's just so super fast. When you're using a mic like this, the audio is incredible. Even without it, you get to kind of hear. The audio is closer to an iPhone in the sense of like the pre-compression than this guy. This guy has got, it's a lot more volume, but it's really loud and there's a lot of boominess and it's not really articulate, whereas this guy's got a little bit more articulation in there. But most importantly, it's just easy to use. Also, one of the things I'll share is the other day I was recording in here using this as the B cam and this is the A cam. Neither one of them were plugged in. This does have internal fans and it does have a bigger battery, but this guy ran out of battery before this one did. In fact, I did not have to stop and charge this camera once the whole day, whereas this guy I did. So there's something to be said about that as well. Luckily I have extra batteries, so I could just throw one in here, but again, something to be said about this PowerShot V1 camera. This fits really nicely into my workflow. I'm really excited to have it, and of course that zoom lens is a nice addition as well, because now I can get up close and personal. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, become a Patreon member where you get to see all kinds of cool behind the scenes stuff and extra footage, as well as make sure to pick up some merch. I'm wearing my West Coast Drum Shop merch right now, but we do have, of course, Arizona Drummer hats, hoodies, t-shirts, shorts, as well as behind the kit stuff, and a Talon knife shirt as well. So again, make sure to go over there, pick up some merch. All those proceeds come right back here to the channel. so I can continue to invest in awesome content like this. And with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.